Oh, the host disabled participant screen sharing. But there you go.
What?
The host disabled the screen sharing thing.
Can't see the guy. Karen, how do I mute this?
Have you mute it?
Yes.
The dog will get out of my way. All right, let me see. See this over here?
Oh, okay.
Mute.
Yeah, I just
double click if I did it anyway.
Hi, everyone. Kevin's calling in a minute, okay?
All right, good evening, everybody. Sorry about the delay. We're down here at Town Hall. We've got some phone and Wi-Fi issues, so if something cuts out or whatever, we'll try and take care of it. Toot sweet. So we do have a quorum of the board present. Victoria? Okay. Quorum being present and the time being 5:02, I will call the meeting of the Freetown Conservation Commission to order. Before we get started, I must read the governor's orders here. So pursuant to Governor Baker's March 12, 2020 order suspending certain provisions of the Open Meeting Law, General Law, Chapter 30, Section 18, and the governor's March 15, 2020 order imposing strict limitations on the number of people who may gather in one place, this meeting of the Freetown Conservation Commission will be conducted via remote participation to the greatest extent possible. Specific information and general guidelines for remote participation by members of the public can be found on the Town of Freetown website, freetownma.gov. No in-person attendance of members of the public will be permitted, but every effort will be made to ensure that the public can adequately access the proceedings in real time via technological means. In the event that we are able to do so, despite best efforts, we will post on the town's website or YouTube channel an audio or video recording, transcript, or other comprehensive record of proceedings as soon as possible after the meeting. Whew. So, welcome everybody.
Hello, Kevin.
Hello. Trying to print out agendas here on these computers. It's not working for us, so just bear with me a little bit here. I'm going to take use the chairman's prerogative. We have a request from the state and it's item number 7. I'd like to take that one first unless there's any objections. This is it's a request to extend an order of conditions. The applicant and Mass Department of Transportation, aka South Coast Rail. VHB would be the representative. I think it's Dr. Lars Carlson that may in fact be here tonight. They're simply requesting an extension on the order of conditions that were granted for the construction of South Coast Rail. So, Dr. Carlson, are you here tonight, sir?
Yes, I am, Mr. Chairman. Thank you very much.
You're welcome, sir.
Also with me this evening is Jean Fox, our public involvement
Jean.
coordinator, and Holly Palmgren, MBTA Manager of Environmental Construction.
How are you, Holly? She's muted. *6.
Yeah, we're all muted.
It's crowd control, Gene. Just for the record again, everybody, this is being recorded via Zoom. I did make the announcement, but just well, I understand you have another meeting tonight, so sure, we're happy to accommodate you, take you first here, and I guess just as a general question, how are things going relative to construction?
Things are going very well. Both contracts, as you are probably aware, for the main line have been awarded, and construction is proceeding on both pieces of track in Freetown. There's
Excellent.
been a lot of activity at Freetown Station.
Oh yeah.
Work is going to be gearing up shortly on the New Bedford main line as well. So we appreciate you taking us out of order.
Sure.
The request is merely an extension of the orders of condition, which, believe it or not, were issued 3 years ago and are getting ready to expire.
So what's the length of duration, or what's the time that you're looking for an extension? 1, 2, 3 years? Are we going to go for the 3?
If we get another 3 years, we'll be able to complete the project within that time frame.
All right, you heard it here first, folks. Everybody said, Dr. Lars Carlson said, South Coast Rail will be done in under 3 years if we give them this extension.
Whoa.
Breaking news. All right, folks. Any other board members have any questions about this? This is just regular business for us. If there's no other comments or questions from the board members, then I will entertain a motion to grant a 3-year extension for the order of conditions that were granted to the Mass Department of Transportation South Coast Rail Project.
I'll make that motion.
Excellent.
I'll second it.
Motion's been made and supported. If there's no further discussion on the motion, we must do roll call votes. So, Charlie Sullivan.
Aye.
Charlie Sullivan, aye. Keith Mello.
Aye.
Keith Mello, aye. Is Chris here? No. Kevin Damaris, aye. Motion passes unanimously. Boy, that was some heavy lifting there. It took 3 of you to do it.
Thank you.
Thank you
Mr.
so
Chairman.
much.
All right, guys, have a great night and be safe, please.
You
Good to
too.
talk to you. Yeah,
Thank
bye-bye
you.
now.
You
Bye.
Yeah,
too.
bye-bye. Yeah,
Bye-bye.
bye. Okay, so next on our agenda, we have a request for determination of applicability. Oh, no, I'm sorry. We have a public hearing scheduled for this evening. This is for a notice of intent for 41 Water Street. I will call that public hearing back to order. The applicant is still doing their peer review, is undergoing peer review. They're working back and forth with environmental partners. So they have requested a continuance to February 22nd. But before we go any further, I will just remind everybody that this is the property at the end of Water Street where we had granted them, in essence, an RDA so that they could make some repairs, emergency repairs to their stone wall. Well, the applicant provided us with a good plan and a good narrative, and you know, but unfortunately, whoever they hired to go over there and do it was not following to plan. They ended up taking down a few larger trees, and they ended up making a bit of a mess. To the applicant's credit, or their engineer's credit, once contacted, they were on site within a half hour, agreed with me wholeheartedly that there was certainly a digression from what the permit that we gave specifically to the RDA. And I informed them that unless I can be talked out of it by other board members, I felt it essential that we issue an enforcement order that requires them to stop work, immediately stabilize, and no work to be continued there until they've come before the board again. So while this is on the notice of intent, it is on the same property, so I felt it appropriate. And again, given that it's an emergency situation with the enforcement order, I just wonder if the board has any comment on that, or if they would like me to just issue the enforcement action with the aforementioned requirements, and we continue down that road.
Kevin, Charlie,
Yeah.
why am I not surprised at all? I'm certainly, yes.
Okay.
This is a game we're playing, that they're playing also. We know all about it, but yes, we can.
Yeah, it's unfortunate because I do believe that the engineer and maybe even the homeowner had the best intentions, but there was a lot lost in translation, apparently, from what we asked them to do, or gave them permission to do, to what the site guy in the excavator decided to take upon himself, I guess. So either way, the enforcement action goes to the property owner, and this will certainly get their attention further. So if that's the case, then I will continue on, and once that's written up, I will just have an email copy sent out to the board so they can see what it was.
Sounds good.
Okay. All right, if there's nothing else on
Sounds good,
41
Kevin.
Water Street. I'm sorry, sir?
I said, sounds good, Kevin. I agree.
Thank you very much, Keith. So if there's nobody else that has any questions or comments on that, then I will entertain a motion that we continue the notice of intent public hearing to February 22nd via Zoom, 5 o'clock meeting via Zoom.
Motion so made.
Thank you.
Second.
Thank you. Motion made and supported. No further.
Second.
Yep. No further discussion. Roll call vote. Charlie Sullivan.
Aye.
Charlie Sullivan, aye. Keith Mello.
Aye.
Keith Mello, aye. Kevin Damaris, aye. Passes unanimous. It's continued to the 22nd. Okay, next on our agenda, we have a request for determination of applicability. This is for 86 Chipaway Road in a Sonnet. That's not a Sonnet.
Sorry.
That's all right. Victoria she still hasn't quite got the hang of the ridge runners and the heron choker thing yet. So we'll get her all squared away.
We could just use.
Yeah, that's what I told her. I said, we're just going to use Freetown, and that way it removes all the confusion. The applicant is Milton Westgate III. The scope of work is for construction of a new dwelling with minor grading. And if I understand correctly, in looking at the plans, and again, folks, these plans are available, yes, Victoria? They're on our website. So again, Freetown MA, you can go to boards and commissions or committees, and you will see the Conservation Commission. And on that, what is the heading that I'm looking for here, Victoria?
Conservation Commission current filings.
Yeah, Conservation Commission current filings. And that will be on the left-hand side, fourth one down. And this is going to be on there. This would be the 86 Chipaway Road, and we have that request for determination. You can download that PDF and take a look at it with us. And that's the actual, where's the plan? Did I mess something up there? Oh, plans, there you go. All right. Do we have a representative, either the applicant or their engineer or somebody here?
I'm here, the applicant, Milton.
Oh, I was gonna say, not everybody might recognize your voice, Milton. All right, so we have Milt Westgate here with us this evening. You're the applicant. And folks, again, if you want to take a look at that plan, feel free. It's on the website there. Pretty straightforward, near as I can tell. Milt, you're going to be taking down an existing dwelling, is that correct?
Correct.
And you are, okay, and I see you're moving it back further from the road. And the reason why you need to come before us in looking at this, we have a 50-foot setback, and it would appear that some of the grading is within the 50-foot, but very little. And then most of the work that we're concerned would be between 100 and the 50, and that would be the new house and some of the septic system. So I'm familiar with the site, but if you would, is this is an existing yard site, so it's currently it's previously disturbed area, commonly
Correct.
used as a.
This is more or less the backyard of the existing house. So the area that I propose to do the work in is all cleared. It's the back lawn. So it's basically, right now it's seeded and grassed as far as where all the work's going to take place.
Okay, and I see that you've purposely, it looks like you've purposely held your silt fence and limit of work to that 50-foot buffer zone so that there is no, it doesn't look like there's any proposed work to be done within that 50-foot
Now,
buffer.
hopefully there's practically no excavation work to be done besides digging a foundation hole and putting the septic in. But as far as there's nothing to clear, there's nothing to move, there's no foliage that needs to come down or anything like that.
Well, I don't want to correct you, Milton, but so I'll ask you this. It says overgrown brush and small trees to be removed, so I don't want to, so there, yeah.
Okay.
So in talking with your engineer, I believe it's Kevin from S&K.
Correct.
Mentioned that there may be a need, and again, it's all outside the 50-foot, so it's not like it's going to incur anything. But I just wanted, for those that don't, that there appears to be a small area, maybe a few hundred square feet, maybe 800 square feet, that you might have to take some brush out, just simply to get around the structure and to get vehicles back in there and all. So,
All right, I guess for me to clarify what I was saying is nothing that involves a chainsaw.
There you go. I like that. All right. Again, is this place for your son?
Yes.
Not to get too much into your business, but you did tell me that the other day, and it's good to see your son's going to be able to stay in town. So that's nice.
It is.
It is. All right. Okay. Anybody from the board have any comments or questions on this?
I'm good, Kevin. I'm familiar with the property.
I would think so.
In general, not specifically, just in
Right,
general.
right.
Milt, yeah, good luck there, Milt.
Thank you.
Yeah, and typically
I'm
under
good,
normal
Kevin.
excellent, Keith, thank you very much. Under normal circumstances, typical new home construction, if it was a virgin lot, if you will, a lot of times a notice of intent is filed. But in this instance, they reached out and I said, given that it's a previously disturbed area and there's already a house there, an RDA was fine. And they've offered up to not touch anything within 50 feet, and that's a bonus for everybody, so. All right, if there's no other comments, then I'll entertain a motion that we issue a negative determination, number 3, that while the work is in an area that's a buffer zone to an area subject to protection of the Act, it will not dredge, alter, or fill an area that is subject to the protection of the Act, and so no notice of intent is required. I'll entertain that motion.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second it.
Thank you very much. Motion been made and supported. If there's no further discussion on the motion, I will take a roll call vote. All in favor, Charlie Sullivan.
Aye.
Charlie Sullivan, aye. Keith Mello.
Aye.
Keith Mello, aye. Kevin Damaris, aye. Passes unanimous. Milt, just give us a day or two. We'll get that paperwork drawn up and signed for you. We'll reach out to you and let you know to pick it up. Or we can send it directly to your engineer if you'd like.
Either or is fine with me.
You're going to leave a decision up to me? Whew. All right.
I'll pick it up.
There you go. There you go.
I'll run
All
that.
right. We'll let you know, Milt. Thank you very much.
Perfect. Thank you for your time.
Take
Yeah,
care.
we'll see you. All right. Okay, so next on our agenda, I'm going to have to go back and look at the agenda because we can't print anything with these stupid computers. So we have a continued notice of intent for 3 Locust Street. Again, folks, this is for the proposed subdivision and roadway modification? Yes. Yes. So you'll see two different 3 Locust Streets. What we're talking about here is proposed subdivision and roadway modification. So it's the third document down, if you will, or third filing down. This is a public hearing that has already been called to order. And so I will call it back to order. Do we have the applicant here?
Yes,
Or their rep-
well, Corey Medeiros from SciTech on behalf of the applicant.
All right, thank you, Corey. Corey, before you get out, well, I'm going to ask you very nicely if you would supply our office with your cell phone number or a way to get in touch with you, because it's very difficult. We email and we don't get an email back, and we call your office and, well, nobody answered.
Perfect,
So
I'll get that to you.
Thank you, sir. Okay, again, if there's anybody here as an abutter or an interested party, typically how this works is we allow the applicant to make a presentation. We then open it up for questions. If you'd like to just get my attention, you can raise your hand if you're on the computer. If not, politely say, excuse me. I'll just ask you that you state your name for the record, and then you can ask questions and we'll try and get them answered for you. Are we good? Okay. Corey, we have the ability to look at the plans. If you need to do a screen share, feel free to do that also. We can, I think, Victoria, right, you can set them up for that? Yeah, so.
Yeah, whatever you prefer, I can share the screen or you can bring up the plan, whatever's easier for you.
Well, I've got the plan up, right, because I'm going to multitask through this. If you want to screen share it, that's fine, and that way we can, if there's anybody at home that needs to or wants to look at this, they can.
Perfect.
Thank you.
Now, you're not seeing that right now, are you?
No.
No. Let's see. Now you should be seeing it.
Yes.
Perfect. All right, so Corey Medeiros from SciTech on behalf of Christopher Nielsen, Sony Fernandez. This is their project on Sammy's Lane. This was originally brought before the board circa end of 2017. And this is just revisiting that same work. So Essentially, we're proposing the modifications to the roadway that accesses the existing home that's in the back here that you can't see beyond lot 3 here. So we're improving the roadway. We're also getting rid of the various culverts that are strewn about, and we're combining it into the box culvert that you see my little hand over here. You can see the wetlands wrapping around, hence the need to come before the commission for approval. So we've got some work within the buffer zone, as well as the this dash line here is the riverfront area. The lot or this particular project, as I had already mentioned, has already been through the board once. As of January 8th, the original order of conditions was issued January 8th, 2018, which roughly takes us to just outside of the 3-year period. But this is the same project that you saw back then, so it's already gone through extensive review, and it was completely acceptable back then. I don't see anything that has changed as far as regulations or as far as impact that would change that decision from the board, but I'll certainly leave that up to the board. If there are any questions, I will be more than happy to answer them.
Okay, that was the question I was going to ask. And for all intents and purposes, the unfortunate part is, had we been contacted maybe in December or November, we could have just issued an extension on the order of conditions rather than having to go through the full exercise of the full filing again. But as we learned long ago, 1 day late is 1 day expired, and the DEP, unfortunately, there's no leniency with that. So this is, in essence, a request to extend the original order conditions, although it has to be done under the guise of a new filing. So there have been no regulations that have changed that would require a change on of design.
That is correct.
Okay. All right. And I know, I think it was during the planning board public hearing, but I know folks had some questions relative to water backing up on their property, and they're specifically talking about the properties to the, I'm going to say north. Yeah, the properties to the north. I don't know if we have any of the abutters here this evening, but if not, they may catch this later on our world famous YouTube channel. So I'm going to ask the questions for them. Oftentimes with the culverts as they exist now being either undersized, broken, not in the right elevation, and any number of things, there's been a concern, and I think it dates all the way back to the 2010 floods, quite honestly, where we saw all this stuff exacerbated tenfold. That the proposed work, they had questions: is it going to increase the water backing up? Is it going to cause a flooding situation on their property? So if you could, and I know, like I said, Steve Gioso was here, and he spoke to the size and the location of the culverts and all, and the volume now that it can handle as compared to what's there now. So I'm just wondering if you couldn't briefly touch on that.
Before you even get into that, there's a pretty gradual elevation change going from the north to the south. So I would say that the roadway elevation is a considerable amount, or a considerable elevation lower by more than 10 feet. So just to think about the amount of water that would require to create any sort of problems for anyone uphill from us would be astronomical. So I don't think that we would ever see that amount of rain, and if we ever did, we'd be more concerned with building an ark than.
Well, sure, and I appreciate, and that was similar to what what was stated, I believe, at the planning board meetings, and I think I tried to explain it this way, that whatever the elevation is at the road, right, and we'll just call it 30, we'll just call it in some place 35, right? Good round number.
Sure.
And let's just say it's all at 35, if you will, and And so something blocks up a culvert, and it's gonna back up till at least it gets to elevation 35 and goes over the road. So the question or the cause for concern was, while that's backing up, is that going to slow the volume of water that's coming from the north to the south towards your property? And I can see it on the plan that there's so much land and room at those elevations that, yes, to your point, it would take a long time. And I'm in agreement, and we were in agreement the first time that this came before us. But again, I feel it necessary to explain it to these folks because they were very legitimate questions. That you're right. In order for that volume of water to get backed up, you know, at elevation 35, that it would the whole road would have to back up because in essence it would topple over the road. And again, if we're in that situation, everybody's going to be in an arc at that point in time.
Agreed.
So I do understand the question, and I wonder, are there any abutters here or interested parties here for this? No, Mr. Wally's not here? Okay. So yeah, I'm going to ask the questions for him then. So, all right. Again, keeping in mind 2 months ago, this would have simply been an extension. So I'm not trying to run you through the ringer, Corey. I just, you know, we have public hearings for a reason. So
Absolutely.
okay.
And I've waited a long time for this one, so, well, not this
No,
one,
I know.
today, but the next,
I know.
the next two anyway.
Yeah, the next two also. Yeah. All right. Is there anybody here from the general public or anybody from the board that has any questions or comments on this? No. Again, keeping in mind this is the very same thing that we approved just 3 years ago. So, all right. If there's no public here or no comments or questions from the board, I'll entertain a motion to close the public hearing.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second it.
Motion's been made and supported to close the public hearing. If there's no further discussion, all in favor, roll call vote. Charlie Sullivan.
Aye.
Charlie Sullivan, aye. Keith Mello.
Aye.
Keith Mello, aye. Kevin Damaris, aye. It passes unanimous. Again, I'm not going to belabor the point, gentlemen. This is something that we've already approved. I would say that that I have no problem moving forward. I'm confident in the drainage engineering on this, that it will work. It's been proven out through review. So that being said, I will entertain a motion that we approve the plans as submitted and issue the order of conditions with all the very same conditions that were on the last order of conditions. I don't think that there were any that were too specific, but if there was one that I missed, it's going to be on this one too. So I'll entertain that motion.
So moved.
Second.
Motion made and supported. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Charlie Sullivan, roll call. Charlie Sullivan, yes.
Aye.
Charlie Sullivan, aye. Keith Mello.
Aye.
Keith Mello, aye. Kevin Damaris, aye. Motion passes unanimous. All right, Corey, we're going to, again, paperwork's got to be drawn up. We got to sign it. And so give us a day or two and we'll send that out to you.
Not a problem.
All right, so next on our agenda is the public hearing for, is it 3903?
3 Locust Street.
Okay, 3 Locust Street, that's the next one on the agenda?
That's the next one on the agenda, yes.
Yeah, okay. So this one we have not opened yet due to there was an issue relative to making sure that the public hearing notice was posted in a timely manner. We missed it by a day or so last time. So this was just to make sure that it was posted for long enough before we do that. So I will call the public hearing. Did we not open this public hearing? Is that what you're saying? We did not open it?
No, I think we opened it.
Well, I thought we opened it, but then we...
didn't have to redo the act.
Right, right. So I will call this back to order. We opened it the first time, but it was simply just to continue it to this date. So I will call the public hearing back to order for 3 Locust Street. This is for the proposed single-family home construction on the aforementioned subdivision road that we had just approved. So again, folks, if you're interested in this, you can go to our website under Conservation Commission current filings. This would be the second filing down, and you can click on the plans, and you'll be able to follow along with us. All right. Corey, you're here for this also, correct?
I am, Kevin. Good evening,
Corey,
Corey
next-
Maderas from SciTech. On behalf of the applicant, Fadi Henny is the applicant for this particular piece of property. It is the same property that we were speaking about before. This is on the actual corner of Sammy's Lane and Locust Street. The plan that we have submitted is for a septic system. Well, the single-family home, including the septic system, driveway, and all of the grading. Again, similar to the roadway, this project involves a buffer zone. So it's buffer zone impact. We are maintaining or trying to maintain, let's see, I believe we have at least a 10-foot minimum of separation from the closest disturbance to the approved wetlands line. And you'll see that the house is tucked back. The reason why it's over there in that back corner is to get it as far away from the river, or as deep away from the riverfront area as possible. So you'll see that riverfront area is that dashed line there. And as typical, we have the silt fence. This particular system is a pump system, has an impervious barrier, so it minimizes the amount of fill it would bring in the backyard. And before Kevin asks, or to preempt Kevin's question, I guess I should say, the existing drainage patterns, again, are flowing down from the if you see this north arrow up top, are flowing from the north to the south. So any of the abutter surface water is going to come down the hill and is going to be directed along the corner of the septic system towards either the wetland system here or the drainage system currently in Locust Street. So the impact is going to be very minimal. You'll see a fairly smooth sloped driveway. So given the approximation of the wetlands, this kind of fits in about as perfectly as we can get it to. So as far as placement goes, I think that this is the most minimal impact that we could design for this particular site. If anybody has any questions, I'll be more than happy to answer them.
Okay, thank you. So, anybody here from the public on this? No? Okay. How many people are here at the meeting?
Oh, it's just us and Corey.
Oh, it's just us and Corey. Well, I'll stop asking then. If somebody comes on, let me know, please. I'm not talking to myself then. Okay, Corey. So, new septics, you can put those inside of 100 feet?
75 feet is the Board of Health setback.
Okay.
50
that's
feet
on
is
it.
Title 5.
Right. And you're 100 foot. I'm just looking for the well radius. There it is. You're 100 foot.
Yeah,
Not that
100 feet from the well.
Yeah. Well, you were
Yep.
just, you were praising how good of a site that was. So I just wanted to make sure it truly was.
Well, if it was that good of a site, we wouldn't be in front of you for any.
No, I know. That was my next point. Well, if it was, you wouldn't have 3 different buffer zones on the flipping thing.
I believe or what I was intimating was that, we're doing the best with what we can.
No, I was giving you credit for that. You're right. You're outside of it. So, I do have a concern. You've got a line. It's proposed silt fence, right?
Yep.
And that's the scallop line, for lack of a better. Right,
that is
the hump
tree
line?
line / silt fence.
Oh, the silt fence is a hashed line. I see.
Yeah, it's
Okay.
that dashed
So
line.
that really actually goes to my question. If you look, that's a very, very tight window on your limit of disturbance if you're going to use that existing tree line. And again, I applaud you if again, part of that's part of the requirement because it's in the riverfront area. So, given that this is in the riverfront area, have we done an alternatives analysis and such that is required in the riverfront area?
Well, the feeling on the riverfront analysis is that the only there's not really any sort of riverfront analysis that can be done on this particular project. Reason being is we're already maximizing the separation that we have. We're already minimizing the amount of disturbance we are in the riverfront area. So just in the fact of the placement of the house itself, there's not really any alternatives to this particular. Is kind
No,
of.
I'm not going to argue with you on that. What I am going to make a statement is, and in the past it's been brought out to us by DEP, that if it's a riverfront area or a Rivers Protection Act area, at minimum there is the alternative analysis to show why you have to do that. I'm not arguing that everything you said is probably 100% accurate. But in looking at this, honestly, it didn't dawn on me at first, and maybe I should have picked this up earlier. I don't sit around looking at these plans all the day. But I see that the riverfront area does stretch over from like across the street. So I'm not going to argue that there isn't, there is no continuity between your yard, proposed yard, and then you got Sammy's Lane, you got a driveway, and you got Locust Street, right? I get all that. But we need that in a narrative. We need a narrative that states that, Corey, that says just exactly what you stated. Every effort's to be made. There's a minimum. We're allotted a certain amount of disturbance within the riverfront area. You can see that we're limiting the work. And that goes to my point with the tight, if you look at that tree line that goes around there, that's a very tight tree line. And if that's what we're going to do, that's fine. And if that's if that's what you're proposing, the limit of work, that's great, right? But the reality is, the only area that they're going to have for a yard is, maybe 20 feet to the south, to the east, where the septic tanks are, and you got maybe 30 feet in the back, and then the area around your septic. And you may be pigeonholed into doing that simply because you're in the Rivers area, Protection Act area, but that needs to be hashed out in a narrative for us. Otherwise, DEP will, and it's happened here, DEP will appeal it because we didn't follow the Rivers Protection Act.
Okay, that's fine. I can get you an alternatives analysis.
Yeah.
That's not a problem.
Yeah. I'm not asking you to reinvent the wheel, but what I am asking you is to tell us exactly what you stated. I'm not arguing with the veracity of it. It just needs to be put on paper so we can say that we checked off that box, right? Because when we look at it, if it says right on the notice of intent application, right? If it's within has an alternatives analysis been provided? So, okay. That being said, I'm gonna. You could do everybody a favor too by making the actual site plan part of it. I know it's cheaper to put it on one sheet, and this is fine for a Board of Health. But when you're really asking, Concom here, it'd be helpful if it was a full sheet plan, so you could really discern the different setbacks and things. So overall, I don't take exception to the plan, right? You've done everything you said you want to do. Keep it away. I can tell you that I'm going to probably want to see, at minimum, some posting along the wetland area. Again, that would be to the west. That denotes it as a conservation area, and any work and any continued work beyond there would require a filing with Conservation Commission. We have the placards and we provide those.
Okay, perfect.
So, all right. So if you can get us the alternatives analysis and a plan set, excuse me, that would show where we could put the placards. If the south part of that paved driveway, if you're not going to be cutting any other trees over there, then I would say that's where they need to be, because again, you're getting within the buffer zone there.
Yeah.
So wherever the limit of work is that you're proposing, that's within the 100-foot buffer zone, maybe we could give you some plaque, and we've got plenty of them. So we'll give you plenty of them, and you can put them on there. Okay.
And you just want those on like a signpost, correct?
Yeah, signpost, actually,
Or
I
a
have,
tree?
right, I have brass nails
Okay.
that are specifically for trees, at least that's what I was told. Somebody,
Well,
no,
find out what it
listen,
is.
I went to somebody who does conservation signs, and they handed me this and said, here. So, this is better for the tree or what have you, I don't know. So, yeah, I mean, again, I'm not gonna ask you to cut down a tree to put a post in the ground so you can put this thing up, right? But just, and I'm, again, maybe 4 or 5 throughout the property. It's just a polite reminder, because Fadi, while he knows what to do there, he's the applicant.
Absolutely.
He's gonna sell it to somebody, and they're gonna come in there and go, oh, this would be nice, and so, all right, so if you could, we'll just continue this to our next meeting until we get the alternatives analysis from you so that we can vote on that.
That's fine. Yeah, I can get that out to you immediately. So next hearing will be perfect.
Perfect, and that's the 22nd, right? Correct. All right, unless there's anything to add, how about anybody from the board? Any questions from the board on this?
I'm
If
good,
not, all right then. I'll entertain a motion that we continue the public hearing for, this is 3 Sammy's Lane for the, I'm sorry, 3 Locust, excuse me, for the construction of a single-family home and with associated septic system and driveway, that we continue the public hearing to February 22nd, 5 o'clock via Zoom.
So moved.
I second.
Motion's been made and supported. There's no further discussion on the motion. Roll call vote. Charlie Sullivan.
Aye.
Charlie Sullivan, aye. Keith Mello.
Aye.
Keith Mello, aye. Kevin Demaris, aye. Corey, it passes unanimously. We will see you on the 22nd.
Perfect.
So-
Thank you.
So the next public hearing on our agenda, we have a public hearing for 39 Sammy's Lane. This is again a public hearing that we had advertised, and we had opened the public hearing, but because we did not post the public hearing notice 1 day late, we put it off. We felt it good to put it off for 2 weeks to make sure. And so here we are. So I will call that back to order. Again, folks, on our website, oh, there's no one here. So you can find these plans on our website. This is, again, 39 Sammy's Lane. Corey, you have the floor.
Excellent. Corey Medeiros from SciTech, the same applicant, so Fadi Hanine, and the owner is still Sony Fernandez. This is the second lot that you saw on, or the lot that was denoted as lot number 2 on the first plan for the roadway modification. The orientation's a little different, so you'll see that the north arrow is pointing essentially straight up. The same sort of drainage pattern, still draining from the north to the south. So from the top of the plan to the bottom of the plan, just to orientate everyone. And this is again, a proposed 4-bedroom single-family home with a septic system, driveway, and all of the grading. This particular house here, we managed to use not really a walkout, but the reverse of a walkout, kind of, depending on which way you're looking at it, which helps us with the grading. Now, as far as implications, you're going to see this lot has a little bit more room, but we are so that dashed line, just like previously, is denoting your silt fence. You see the 75-foot buffer offset, which is coming through here. That's denoting where the septic system is going, or the leaching field, I should say. Proposed well is going over to the east side of the site, right along the wetlands line. And you'll see, you get your standard paved driveway. While there is a small portion of this lot that the riverfront area goes through, you will notice that there is no work being proposed on that portion of it. That is.
Well, I'll tell you what, the riverfront gods were shining on you, weren't they?
No, I don't think that's not by accident, Kevin.
No, I know it's not. I'm just telling you. I'm looking at that because I'm like, oh, I got him twice, and I'm like, nah.
You can zoom in as much as you want.
I know, I can zoom, yeah. Sorry, I didn't mean to get in the way of your presentation.
That's quite all right. That's quite all right.
All right.
So Now, again, the same argument's going to be said for, as far as surface water coming from the north to the south. It's going to be traveling down that hill and entering our site and then being feathered to either of the wetlands that are on the west or east side, depending on where the water's coming in from. So this lot gives us a little bit more room, so we've got a little more flexibility. A few things you don't see a pump chamber, and it's well, a little more room affords you a little bit more of a yard, as you'll notice. And at that, if anybody has any questions, I'll be more than happy to answer them.
Well, I have one. Shocker, huh?
Yeah.
On the other plan, you were kind enough to show us what I'll call, again, the limit of disturbance, but where the actual tree canopy is going to be left, right? And that's on
the reason why that's not shown on this is there's not really as much of an existing tree line or a definite tree line in this portion.
Yeah.
So we're holding the wetlands. We're giving them a little bit bigger of a backyard. We're still maintaining at least 10 feet of a buffer from the silt fence, which I guess you could kind of look at as being your limit of work. By all intents and purposes, that is the intent. So.
Yeah, I can appreciate that. So thank you. That is a reasonable explanation. I'm just curious. And again, I don't want to compare the two plans, but hey, they're one after another, and you did them both. So here we are. It does seem on the east side that it's. I understand that's where your well is, and I'm just curious. It looks like you're going to be all the way up to 10 feet within the wetland, to a wetland, and that's awful close. 10 feet with a new property owner migrates a bit. And so, again, I'm speaking specifically on the easterly side. On the west side, you could probably pull that silt fence back a little bit to keep more of a buffer. I mean, at minimum, we'd like to see 25.
Okay, I don't see that as being a problem.
All right. And do you think maybe we could just tweak that well site a little bit so that
the problem with moving the well is we can move it.
Well.
It's going to have to slide quite a bit.
You can move that well, Corey.
Oh yeah, no, it's just going to have to slide quite a bit towards Sammy's Lane, but that's not a problem. It won't,
Well, no. Listen, you're already at 15 feet. I'm just telling you, the reason why I think you're saying that the limit of work is at 10 feet there is because so you can get around the wellhead site, right? So what I'm saying is if you move the wellhead site, in 5 feet or at an angle, 10 feet at an angle, then you can pull that silt fence over 10 feet, right?
Oh yeah, no. The only reason I was mentioning that is the closer I move it towards the house, the closer I got to move it towards Sammy's Lane. But it's a minor shift.
Okay.
So not a
All
problem.
right. Yeah. Okay. And additionally, again, because you're going to be getting to that 25-foot, a lot of places, we're probably going to, I'm going to require that you have the placards installed on that line of the limit of work, to just again politely remind people that if they want to do any work over there that's in exceedance of what's existing, that they would just need to come and file with us.
Perfect.
All right. So do you think that you could, by the next meeting, do you think you could get us a set of plans that shows the offset closer to, or the limit of work closer to a 25-foot offset from the actual wetlands and the new well site?
Yeah, that shouldn't be a problem. I don't anticipate that as being a problem.
That should be some pretty easy lifting right there.
Yeah.
All right.
No, I wish they were all that easy.
All right. Well, I'm going to throw another monkey wrench in it then for you.
Oh no! Why do you gotta do that?
So I'm just looking at, you got a proposed paved driveway that, to your point, it travels north to south.
Yeah.
The other one travels downhill in more of a easterly direction on the previous one, and I should have mentioned it there, and you can take a hint from this. Is there a way that we can ensure that the driveways will be graded such that there would be a little bit of, that runoff could be more contained within the site. You understand what I'm saying? If you put like a little kind of drainage swale on the
You want a little
side.
drainage swell down the end of it.
Yeah,
that's
if you
fine.
could do that on both downstream side of both, and pitch it so that we don't have all the water that's on that coming straight down the driveway. Again, I know that and specifically that the road and the drainage in the road was designed to accommodate that, and I know that we've had those conversations on Locust Street with that. I get all that. But if we can just, offset that just a little bit, then I think we'll be good to go. So those, if you can get those outstanding things on both sets of plans, I anticipate that we'll be able to move forward next meeting.
Yeah, no, that's not a problem at all.
Anybody from the board have any additional comments? If not, that being said, then, nobody from the general public is here, correct? No. So I'll entertain a motion that we continue the public hearing for 3 Sammy's Lane, proposed 4-bedroom dwelling, associated grading, septic system and driveway, to be continued to February 22nd, 5 o'clock via Zoom.
Motion made.
I need a second. Thank you, Keith. Motion made and supported. If there's no further discussion, all those in favor, roll call vote. Charlie Sullivan.
Aye.
Charlie Sullivan, aye. Keith Mello.
Aye.
Keith Mello, aye. Kevin Damaris, aye. Passes unanimously. Corey, we will see you
In 2
on the
weeks.
on the 22nd. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you so much. Have a nice evening, gentlemen.
You too now.
Oh, and you too, Vicky.
So next on our agenda, do we have, is it 12 Forge? Yeah. So I will call back to order the notice of intent public hearing for 12 Forge Road. This is, if for those of you, well, we're all here. It's for the solar array up there on Forge Road. This is currently going through peer review. I was contacted by the applicant today. They stated, at least through the conversation, that they believe that they've been able to address everything from environmental partners' concerns relative to the Stormwater and Wetlands Protection Act, but they have yet to receive the final review letter that tells us that. So rather than them coming here and trying to get some sort of conditional approval on us receiving the letter, I told them that standard operating procedure is we get the letter, we respond to the letter, and then we will do it that way. So they agreed, and they've asked to be continued to the 22nd again? Yeah. So that being said, unless anybody else has any other comments, I will entertain a motion to continue the public hearing for 12 Forge Road, the solar array, to February 22nd, 5 o'clock via Zoom.
So moved.
Second.
Motion made, supported. No further discussion. All in favor, roll call vote. Charlie Sullivan.
Aye.
Charlie Sullivan, aye. Keith Mello.
Aye.
Keith Mello, aye. Kevin Damaris, aye. Motion passes unanimously. We will see those folks on the 22nd. All right, Victoria, what else is on our agenda here?
The forest cutting plan.
The forest cutting plan. Do you have a copy of it? It's upstairs, and I'm not going to make you go running all the way upstairs. So we have received a forest cutting plan from Mike Labossiere. He is working with the Acushnet Sawmill folks, and he's also the forester, the city forester for the Fall River Water Department, and manages all of the reservation and stuff. So he's a wealth of knowledge, good guy. And as required, they are required to file with us a forestry cutting plan. We're not required to approve it. We're just required to receive it and let folks know. So if anybody wants to know, and that's off of Quantapug, isn't it?
I think so.
Yeah, I think it's off land off of Quantapug Road, if I'm not mistaken. If not, we have the actual filing if you want to look at it. So, all right. Nobody has any questions on that. Next on our agenda, Victoria.
Appoint Mike McHugh.
Oh.
Open space consultant.
Okay, so we have, if you remember, we approved the wording for the open space consultant, and Mike McHugh is interested in that, and the reason why we want to keep him on is because he's been instrumental in getting us our forestry grants. thousands of dollars worth of forestry grant. So, in an effort to keep him doing what he's doing for us in a semi-official way, we've created this position, and it's unpaid. There is no budget for this. It's not going to be paid, and that's not the intent. It's just, so I'll entertain a motion that we appoint Mike McHugh to the position of
Open space consultant.
Open Space Consultant.
I'll make that motion.
Thank you, sir.
I'll second it.
Thank you, sir. Motion's been made and supported to appoint Mike McHugh as the Open Space Consultant for the Freetown Conservation Commission. There's no further discussion. Roll call vote. Charlie Sullivan.
Aye.
Charlie Sullivan, aye. Keith Mello.
Aye.
Mello, aye. Kevin Damaris. Kevin says aye. Motion passes unanimously. We'll get all the appointment slip, yada, yada, done, and we'll get that squared away with the Selectman's office. So, is there anything else?
Approve the meeting minutes.
I was gonna say,
January 25th.
the only other thing we have are the meeting minutes from the 25th. If anybody wants to make a motion on that, then we can adjourn.
I'll make that motion.
All right, motion's
I'll
been made.
second it.
Motion made and supported to approve the meeting minutes from
January 25th.
January 25th. No further discussion. All in favor? Charlie Sullivan.
Aye.
Charlie Sullivan, aye. Keith Mello.
Aye.
Keith Mello, aye. Kevin Damaris, aye. Passes unanimously. If there's nothing else, gentlemen, we have just a motion to adjourn. So anybody want to make that?
I'll make that motion, made all the others.
Yeah, I like your
second it.
consistent.
I second all the
Oh,
others, so I'll second that one too.
I love this teamwork. I love it.
Yep, yep.
All right, so motion's been made and supported for, to adjourn the meeting. There's no further conversation. Charlie Sullivan.
Aye.
Charlie Sullivan, aye. Keith Mello.
Aye.
Keith Mello, aye. Kevin Damaris, aye. Motion carries. Meeting is adjourned. Thank you very much, gentlemen. We're whittling this stuff down. We're getting through it. I promise you, we're getting through it.
Uh-huh.
3 more things are going to get knocked off next week, and we might actually be on some sort of regular pace. It's only taken us months through these Zoom meetings to catch up. All right, folks, be safe. Have a good evening, and if you need anything, feel free to reach out to us.
Take care, guys.
All right.
Okay, see you later, guys. Take care.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye-bye.